Hello, 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 hello. Happy day to you.
Hey, guys.
All right, we'll just get right into the amazing fucking thing. Welcome to 2ShotsMusicPod, everybody. We want to make sure that you subscribe on YouTube and give us 5 stars. Leave a hilarious comment, maybe a dirty message over there on Apple Podcasts.
Preferably.
And you can follow us everywhere at 2ShotsMusicPod. That's the number 2, ShotsMusicPod. How you doing today?
I am fine.
Did that get you up at all?
Yeah, I'm hard as a rock right now.
Like a rock.
Like a rock. Yeah, but the soundtrack to my life is definitely Bob Seger.
Oh, God, I hate Bob Seger. I mean, I don't, but I'm known for it.
You know what's funny is I am not it's another one of those artists where I can appreciate and respect the value and contribution that this person has made to the music zeitgeist.
See?
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
It's fine. When it comes on, I'm like, I won't turn it off, but it's not a thing that I reach for. If I'm like, you know what I'm having? I got a case of the sad being upon me. It's not something I reach for to elevate the mood, shall we say.
I think I mentioned this on this podcast before. I used to pay our roadies and my drummer, if I wasn't driving when we were on the road, that if a Bob Seger song came on, I would pay you $2 to change it.
Nice.
Just so I never had to hear it.
How'd that go on Midwest Radio?
It was hard. I lost a lot of money. That's back when musicians could make money on tour.
Yeah.
I mean, not selling music. We were selling drugs. Anyway, but back when I was...
Big trunk on that car.
Strip club DJ, there was this gal who she was kind of an older gal that worked the day shift. And she had some well-to-do customers that would come just see her.
Yeah.
Now, okay, just picture this. Downtown, 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Dark, dingy, all-nude strip club.
Yep.
Lights going around.
Got it.
2 older gentlemen in the left, 1 older guy right at the stage. Mm-hmm. Something like a 43-year-old, still fit, but 43 definitely.
Yeah.
This is in the early 90s. Mm-hmm. And she is stripping to all Bob Seger. This guy would pay her like $100 every time he came in.
Wow.
Because he wanted to, A, hear Bob Seger, and B, see her dance. He didn't care about any of the young girls, didn't care about any of the hot chicks that would be working. Like normally when you get into a strip club, like the younger gals, you don't get the night shift. You don't get Friday right away. You got to do a Monday afternoon. You got to work the day shift for a little while. You got to get your action in. But she had like clientele.
Wow.
They would just come to watch her. And by the way, they were not handsy people. They were just dudes that came on their lunch break.
Appreciative of the arts.
They may have been retired. Oh. But so when I was doing split shifts, I would do day shifts and night shifts at some points. And so I had to pick her Bob Seger sets. Mm-hmm. And the thing is, this guy would lose it for Turn the Page for a floor show.
That is a long song to dance to.
The third song in a 3-song set of strip clubs is normally, it's called the floor show, right?
Yeah.
And the third song is normally a slow, slinky thing. So you kind of have an up one, which is like twirling around the pole. Mm-hmm. And then you got kind of a cheeky one. And then you got like your floor dance, right?
Yeah.
And he loved Turn the Page, and I'm like,
wow,
it is like 7.5 minutes long. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love it. He's getting his money's worth.
Yeah.
And he would tip the shit out of me, but there were months where I had to hear that song every fucking day.
Wow.
And
that's fun for you.
Then Metallica put out the cover.
Yeah.
And it just was, I was like, enough, I'm out.
Yeah.
And as it turned out, one of my friends who was an excellent speed dealer up on the north side, he loved Bob Seger, man. Hey, man, I love Bob Seger. Come on over to my garage, listen to Bob Seger. And you know why he loved Bob Seger?
Why?
Because he was one of the only artists that did a song that had the word Denver in it. Get out of Denver, baby, go.
Okay.
And I didn't even know about it until he let me hear it. And I'm like, you're turning me around here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I knew about Bob Seger's show. I mean, I was more like shake down, break down, take down, everybody walks into the crowded life. Yeah. I knew that shit from like Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh, yeah.
But like my parents weren't really into it in the 70s, the Silver Bullet Band bullshit. Mm-hmm. But I mean, everybody knew some of the Bob Seger stuff, like Night Moves and all that crap, but wasn't my thing. Wow, that was a long story. Sorry about that.
No,
you feel better?
I'm thinking about like the 3-song set now is, probably average 9 to 10 minutes, but the Bob Seger set is 15 to 20.
Dude, the thing is that if a stripper pissed you off, because it's a partnership when you're a DJ, if they piss you off, I'm going to give you an Agata DeVita, and I'm going to Burger King.
Dude.
I'm just putting it on, and I'm going next door, and like, good luck. I hope you make a bunch of money with this shitty long song.
I had a guy at one of my many, many bar gigs, 15 years ago. Well, number one, asked me if I was, because I used to paint my nails. I mean, I still do sometimes, when I'm going on stage, and she asked me if I was queer or something. I thought that was entertaining, but I, of course, said yes, and and moved on from there. But then he asked, "Well, do you know Inagata DeVita?" And I said, "I don't think we have that one worked up, sir, but thank you for the suggestion." He goes, "Oh, okay. Well, how about the long version?"
Oh yeah, we do
like,
know
you
that
know what?
one.
Fuck it. I didn't have the radio edit down, but I do have the album cut.
That's right. Yeah.
So just brace yourself. We'll be right back after these short messages while I go
Totally.
through.
Just go backstage, crack a beer. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, got it.
Yep, got it. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. That sounds like rock and or roll to me, mister. I posted a meme for some friends of mine recently, which is 2 jars, one like a quarter full of coins, which is the swear jar, and the one next to it that says Simpsons references. It's totally full, and I was like, "This is me and my friends," because that was a Simpsons reference. Anyway,
I love that I actually had to. I fought someone about this that in publishing years ago.
yes,
That they were bound and determined to tell me, and they were a newbie, that Inagata DeVita, the legal title, was In the Garden of Eden. And
that didn't take long to win that battle, did it?
I was like, well, how do you want me to prove it? Which way do you want me to prove it?
Exactly.
No, but that's where it's from. So that is the actual legal title. I'm like, well, 3 of those things aren't the same thing. Doesn't really matter what you say. I don't really care.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's fun.
Love when that happens.
By I, Ron Butterfly.
Speaking of people from the UK, let's get to a little music biz bits. Biz bits. All right. The UK has a plan to transform copyright.
Oh.
And they're doing it through the AI Opportunities Action Plan. Now, here's the thing. They think they're way behind on AI, and they are, in a good way. But they think they're way behind on AI. And what basically I'll distill it down to you is that the UK government wants to change the copyright law to allow AI music to train off of previous works. People like Elton John, Sir Paul McCartney have been like, that's bullshit. It's stealing.
Yeah.
Cat's already out of the bag. It's probably already doing it anyway. But God bless the UK for saying we're like being legal about it and telling you. However, something happened last week that was more than 1,000 musicians, including Kate Bush, Damon Albarn, and Annie Lennox, have released a silent album in protest against the UK government's plans to let our artificial intelligence companies use copyright-protected work without permission. So the celebrity backlash is building. The people in the UK fucking hate it. Obviously, the Tories are fine. Like, they don't care. They want to make money. They think that they're behind. And so that's kind of where we stand on that. But I think it's interesting that there's, it's always great when UK artists band together and do something because they usually do something weird.
Yeah, excellent.
So we're going to do a silent album. Ha, 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 ha.
I have a question because I understand that you're training a computer from existing intellectual property, shall we say. How is this different than me training a person to play Inagata DeVita by Iron Butterfly? Because aren't I doing the same thing to a person versus an AI? I'm asking for a legal distinction here, even though you're not a lawyer.
AI will not tell you that that's what it's done.
Oh, that's fair. Okay.
So like if you're teaching someone that's sort of a one-to-one use. If AI takes all the copyright protected music and discerns melodies and harmonies from the Beatles and distills it into something you can press a button for.
Yeah.
There's also, okay, here's another very huge distinction.
Okay.
I can't sue AI. I can sue you.
Oh.
So like I can sue you for copyright infringement, for not buying a tab or not buying the sheet music or like just learning it by ear or that. And you can learn it by ear and then teach it to somebody else, which is the way music should go. But when there becomes a commercial element and a company is guarding it behind a paywall and there's people paying for pushing the button and then they're paying for the output, but they're not paying for the input, that's where the bigger problems come in.
Understood. I appreciate that distinction. I was thinking about it because
Which is not a legal precedent because, of course, we as musicians are all... And I've heard this argument from a lot of the AI fuckers out there. You AI fuckers, that's what I'm calling everyone now. The AI fuckers will tell you that all of us musicians... We are the sum of all of the music we've ever heard. We're basically our own AI models.
Oh,
right?
That's disgusting.
So if you've listened to British metal and you've listened to, U.S. disco, and you've been trained off of all these models.
I have. You mentioned not buying a tab. There were a couple of times I remember this problem in the 1900s. Unless it was transcribed by the guy who fucking wrote it. Most of those tabs were fucking wrong.
Well, yeah. But they were licensed. Like
they were
licensed.
Shit. Yeah, exactly. I remember.
So that's going on, a silent album.
Interesting.
So along those lines, Apple Music just put out some numbers, which is interesting. For the longest time, we always talk about Spotify being like the sort of the leader in music streaming. And then Apple Music being, well behind that. Usually, I think I've done a lot of the math that, like, if you say Spotify is like your 75% of what you're doing, Apple would be closer to like 30%. And then you've got Amazon, and then you've got the rest, Tidal, and go down the list from there. It's not that way anymore, at least in the U.S. So Apple Music now holds a 30.7% share.
Oh, wow.
So almost 31% of the U.S. music streaming market, ranking second to Spotify, which has what would you think their percentage is of the U.S. streaming market?
Well,
if Apple has about 31%.
Yeah. I would imagine it's probably double that. That would be the guess here.
Yeah, and the ranking second after Spotify, which has 36%.
Wow. That's way less than I thought it was.
To about 31% now.
Wow.
It's almost parity.
That's interesting. And then so the other whatever,
probably Amazon, and then depending on how you
YouTube
term
music.
Pandora, probably.
Yeah.
And then you go down the list from their Tidal and
what about YouTube music? Where is that going to sit in your list?
It doesn't really count as a music streamer because it's different.
It's
specified different.
Saucy bitch. Anyway, that's interesting that Apple Music holds that high of a ranking. Not so much in the U.S.
In the U.S.
It's funny. Like I'm doing some research for some international marketing stuff recently, and just the sheer number of streamers that United States releasing artists are unaware of is pretty nuts. Anyway, plus I sent you the one that's just the metal bands the other day.
I mean, I will also say that a lot of the majors have said that they wish there was another dominant player in at least in North America.
What's the reasoning behind that?
Spotify's growth has been based off actually both of their growth. They're both Spotify and Apple. The growth story that you see top line, like reported in music industry news, and I know this is kind of geek shit for me because I do this stuff, has always been based upon opening a new country or territory, and then growing it from there. The profit model, which has never been there until last year, was the big problem. So if you open up in like, you know, Bangladesh, or if you open up in Africa, or you're opening up in all these other markets, and it's so cheap, it's just to get people in. It takes years before you ever get to a profitability margin there.
Yeah.
And they just thought, well, once we get everybody on it,
Yeah.
then we'll make the money. But when you saw streaming growth numbers, growth by 20%, 23% a year, whatever it was, you would assume that's like, oh, it's taking over America and Canada and the UK and Europe. No. It like that growth happened very quickly and then sort of stagnated and then grew again after COVID.
Yeah.
But I'll bring you into this conversation, which is the next point. Music streaming growth is slowing.
Yeah.
In 2024, on-demand audio streams grew by 6.4%. Most markets, that would be a pretty good raise.
Yeah.
To 1.4 trillion on-demand audio streams. So this is where you pick a song, right? This isn't Pandora or Sirius or any of those things, right?
Yeah, yeah.
However, that is straight up half from last year, 12.7%.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the U.S. So it's only increased 2.7% year over year compared to 6.6. So paid subs have only increased 2.7%. So that is like, and that's where the money is. It doesn't matter how many times people listen.
Yeah.
It's like how many new customers can you get because we're all capitalist and shit.
Yeah.
So it's only increased 2.7 year over year, and that's compared to 6.6%. Fully lost half of growth over 1 year.
Is that because they're like, just because of the saturation in the market? Like people are like, almost everybody has one streamer or another already. And there's only so many humans that have phones with one account. They can't have two accounts. Well, you can, but why would you?
Partially. It is partially that, but there's also what isn't in that stat is churn. And there are a lot of, we talked about this in the podcast last year. There's a lot of Gen Z that are sick of this shit.
Yeah.
And their parents, the older people that they know, they're starting to find physical media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and by the way, physical media also can include digital downloads in a way. If you're using an iPod, it feels like physical media to them.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of churn, and I think a lot of this has to do with how Apple has done the Apple One thing.
Yeah,
where Apple's growth has to do with people going, you know what? Spotify's algorithm isn't that fucking magical. Once you're on it for 2 years, it doesn't really matter. It's like, okay, that was a song I knew in high school. Yeah, that was a song I had 10 years ago.
Might as well just do it on my own.
Yeah, and so once it doesn't become magical, then you join, they get a little bit older. So, I mean, think about this story. From like the last 5 years ago, you're 25 years old, you're coming out of college, you're still, Spotify was a big deal for you.
Yeah.
It's great. And then now you're 30, maybe you got a kid, you got a house. Well, now you're on Apple One, you're watching Apple TV Plus because you want to see Severance and is Ted Lasso coming back and all the rest. And so you can get like, you get your kid on it and you get your wife on it and it's in your Apple Play on your car.
Yeah.
And so now you switch over to Apple Music.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like Apple Music gained a listener.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they did, but streaming didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
And Spotify, the other problem with Spotify because of the freemium problem is you have three-month churn is a real big problem where someone would just be like, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm going to go to freemium.
Yeah.
And then during Christmas,
they
don't want to hear the ads when they're doing their playlists at their parties.
Yeah.
And so they'll pay for it for a month or two, and then they'll get off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometime in the summer, they'll pay for it because they're going to do a few road trips and then they'll get off.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
I feel you. This is the conversation that happens around my house all the time is we already have all of this. And, it's same thing with television streaming, except with some of the locked properties. There's a little bit more exclusivity. I have a reason to go ahead and turn my Paramount subscription back on. And turn off, when this shit's on Hulu, I'm done watching it, and I'll turn that off for a month. And that's just it's the way I operate.
Soccer, if you get into like sports, you're gonna have to go back up and down.
Apple has, because of my lock to the Apple product, having been an artist and a Mac user for quarter century at this point in time. I am locked to those products because I like the UX and the UI, right? And so it makes sense to me that like when somebody sends me so say I do a corporate event, the only reason I would sign up for Spotify is if there's something I cannot get somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because
it's a weird problem.
It's it's a fascinating
to happen.
Yeah. Anyway, I find the whole thing fucking fascinating, and
this is why Spotify really wanted to get a hardware product out, like for cars.
Yeah.
Or they had a disc where you were going to stick it on the wall and it'd be a Spotify player.
Interesting.
But both of those failed because they just lie about everything. Sorry, Spotify, stop lying about everything. All right, one more thing about music biz news and we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang may be forever.
Fuck. Yeah.
But they've just announced their final U.S. tour. It's called The Final Chamber with Run the Jewels.
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale Friday. No pre-sales. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Go see some Wu-Tang for the last time if you've never seen them.
I have seen them 4 times. And every time the experience, there's a whole bunch of fucking people that if they go for the first time, they do not understand what they are seeing.
No,
No. It's
also what a
fascinating.
killer lineup. Run the Jewels is a perfect opener.
Fuck yeah.
Or Co-Bill.
Yeah.
It's probably a Co-Bill.
That's going to be a really fucking great.
Yeah.
great
That's going to be a
tour.
great night.
I'm excited about that.
I will not see it in Denver because why? Guess where they're playing here?
Ball Arena.
Nope.
Where?
Fiddlers.
Ah, fuck.
I'm not going to see Wu-Tang at Fiddlers.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
Noise ordinance. We're done at 10:15.
10
You gotta
o'clock?
fucking
Fuck
shut
you.
it off. No, I know.
Do it at Red Rocks or get the hell out of here.
I did a festival at out in California many years ago. Speaking of noise ordinances, Foo Fighters had just come back from their fucking hiatus. It was their first show. I think it was one of their first show backs. Backstage, their whole families are there. It's really fun. Fucking super great energy. And they're closing with Everlong.
Sure.
And they hit the line it is their last song. That 10:15 mark lies, there are 9 cops at the fucking soundboard. And the PA goes off. And you can hear him still fucking playing. And it was the biggest fucking and they were in the last fucking chorus. So, another reason I will not go see a show at a suburban venue unless it is something I don't want to be there after 10 o'clock for. Which
I just don't support Fiddlers. I think it's a horrible venue.
Yeah.
I think it's run horribly. I don't like Greenwood Village. It's not a real
hey,
city.
fucker, I used to live there.
Yeah, but it's not real, and you know it. And you know, it's true. It's true. Anyone listening to this knows it's true. Anyway, so it's like storage tech drive. Get the fuck out of here. Anyway,
Fuck out of my store.
There shouldn't be really good concerts there. I mean, I'm glad it's a venue, and I'm glad those people have a job. But anyway, all right, that does it for Music Biz Bits. Let's get to a little turn you on. Let's. I've talked so much. Why don't you go?
I'm going to bring you to my fucking old song. So we'll start with the old.
Yes,
because I mixed.
We're turning you on to 2 songs.
Turning
one's
on 2
old,
songs.
One's new. We both listened to them, and we're going to tell you why you should listen to them this week as well. Here he goes.
Fuck! I almost fucked up
Perhaps
the preamble.
a
little preamble. Hey man, we're in the middle of season 2. If you haven't figured it out yet, go fuck yourself.
That's right.
Anyway,
get on the wiki.
I'm in the middle of mixing a couple of hard rock records, and I was looking for some. Reference mixes because it's
Stu, can you tell the people in the audience what a reference mix is?
It's basically a song that you dig the vibes and sounds and energy of, so that you listen to and you go, yeah, I kind of want to use that as a baseline for what I create here, basically. So I like to listen to it and compare kind of what I'm doing. Level matching is important, and remembering that mastering is going to happen after you mix it. Anyway, all of those things aside, God, boy, did I pick the wrong day to quit sniffing glue. I went down a rabbit hole and I was listening to like Mastodon, and I was listening to by the way, Mastodon's still fucking great. But the song that grabbed me was I was scrolling through fucking Facebook, and there was a live version of Faith No More playing Superhero from their 2015 record that is called Soul Invictus. It is a fucking great. Like, I'm a huge Faith No More fan. First off, I think Mike Patton is one of our generation's most brilliant lead singers, with Peeping Tom, Tomahawk, and the great Mr. Bungle. I think he's fucking brilliant. And I remember when this song came out. This is the second single from Soul Invictus. First single being aptly titled "Motherfucker."
Motherfucker, yes. As everyone knows.
And they I love a band that doesn't give a fuck. I really do. And
Yeah.
I was playing at Bumbershoot in Seattle, and I remember losing my mind when we got the lineup. We got the lineup a few weeks before it was released to the public of who was all playing on it. And Faith No More was the headliner one night. So I got to see them play a bunch of songs off this record right before it came out.
And this was the original lineup again, right? Or most of it?
It's some of them.
Some of it.
It's some of them. It was the same lineup.
It was closest to it, right?
Kind of. I mean, you don't
After
have.
a while.
You don't have Jim Martin in there. He's now a pumpkin farmer, or an alpaca farmer. I don't remember. Pumpkin farmer, I think he is. But like the guy that played all the fucking legendary leads from The Real Thing and Angel Dust and all that shit is no longer in the band. But this is some heavy fucking shit. It's a hard rock. There's a lot of screaming, and Mike Patton's vocals on it are fucking great. Super high energy. And if you're going skating today, you're going to skate down to the bodega, get yourself some smokes and a 40. Put this fucker on and see how fast you get there. Because it is a fucking like just it slaps hard. All the tones are great. It was produced by their bass player, Billy Gould is his name, and of course Mike Borden's fucking slapping the shit out of the drums. And if you've not had a Mike Patton experience in a little while, this is a good one to have.
It's hard and heavy.
Yeah, it's 5.5 minutes long, and it takes some left and right turns, and it is so beautifully produced. I love the way this record sounds, and it made me very happy to listen to it. It got my heart rate up, and I was ready to fuck that day. Oh, awesome.
Also, for my history buff, Sol Invictus, the official sun god of the late Roman Empire. This is basically like another run of sun god. A lot of metal bands love sun god, or the god Sol. And just so you know, there you go.
Thanks for that.
It was basically an Aurelian revived the cult in 274 AD.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That's
Sorry,
I
thought I'd just
some
come in
solid
on that
work
one.
there, my friend.
The Invictus is the Roman part.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, Superhero Faith No More, that's my old song. Fucking
Also,
awesome.
if I remember right, there was and I think I do because I actually looked this up, so I don't have to play this if I don't. But they released this on Marvel.com. Do you remember that?
I do not remember that.
They released the single on Marvel.com, which was like another baller fucking move from Faith No More coming back in 2015. It had been many years since an album had come out. And this one was released on Marvel.com. So that's where the single was released when it first came out. And I remembered that. And then I was like, am I right about that? And I looked it up and said, at least I don't know. I don't know if it was Google
what is the
AI lying to me or
context for
whatever.
that? Why?
Well, superhero.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. I'm taking a guess here. I don't think it was Faith.
I know, but typically Marvel has some type of cross. Like they have a reason for doing it.
Yeah, they probably thought they were getting a sync on something, and then it didn't happen.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you remember, but Mike Patton has done a few soundtracks. I didn't know if he'd done something. If he'd done something for Marvel, I remember I think it was Crank 1 or Crank 2 with Jason Statham, where he has to keep his heart rate up of certain speed in your chest.
Oh yeah, that's hilarious.
And Mike Patton made the whole soundtrack with fucking old electronic instruments he found at a thrift store, which he collects, I guess. So I fucking love it. I love the creativity, and I love this band. I think he's fucking brilliant. Anyway.
Yeah. It rocks hard.
Yeah.
It rocks hard.
All right.
By the way, do you think that there is some Phrygian mode in this? Is that what it sounds like to you?
The second half?
Yeah, I mean, well, at least the keyboard part, like I'm like, is that a flat second? Like there's nothing is fully in Phrygian mode, like
no.
Like
it's a Phrygian harmonic kind of thing.
Yeah, but like it's always the second. It's the 2 in an A minor or whatever that's what changes it. A flatted second. But anyway, I was just wondering. It sounds, whenever I hear something, it sounds a little Egyptian.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a little Phrygian right there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting all into like history shit.
I know. I love I love the modal context here. Thank you for that.
So if you guys are out there and you're into modes, you tell me whether or not that keyboard
play it in a harmonic minor scale, but pedal over the 5th. You're welcome.
Yeah, but flat the second in a minor as well, and so that. But you can't do no one goes full Phrygian. Okay,
okay. We could argue about this all day, but we won't because you're going to tell us about the new song.
Metallica.
Wherever I may roam.
That is roughly Phrygian?
That is roughly Phrygian. It is in the key of A minor, but played over the E, the 5th.
There you go.
You're welcome.
With a flat second.
The flat second only counts if you're on the
okay,
root.
Anyway. Okay. All right, we're done. Sorry about that. Was music theory talk.
Yeah. Now
music theory and modals.
Modals. Now
don't get me started on Aeolian. Holy shit, Rick Beadio, and he's an Aeolian.
Beadio? Right. Excellent.
Beadio.
Carry on, sir.
All right, I'm going to do the new song for everyone. No, I'm not going to do it. But here is the new song. Surprise, surprise. Michael's listening to a band from Manchester. So my song is a new song from a band called Dirty Blonde. Mm-hmm. Love these gals and band. It's fronted by 2 gals, Alice and Haley. Mm-hmm. And so the new song is called Rush. Mm-hmm. And we're going to put some links and all that stuff so you can hear this as well as the Faith No More song. This is from the new EP, Looking for Trouble.
Yeah.
Ooh, like that. Dirty Blonde is kind of like a northern rock band with a dash of punk and fuck you. Like one of the things is like, this is your dad's favorite band, which I love that kind of attitude from some of these bands. But I really dig what the hell they're doing. They've been on my radar for about a year. Mm-hmm. And this is a bit more rock and 80s rock. There's some like stops and syncopation in this than what they're usually known for. Like, Don't Cry, It Doesn't Suit You. That's a great fucking song. You should check that out.
Yeah.
Or Come Over. Those are kind of more like Manchester punky sort of indie rock songs. Yeah. This is more like Run When I Tell You, which is also a really cool song. That's like from a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
But I think this will serve them well. It's a little bit more melodic. It's a little bit more structured. It's something to hang on to. And I've seen them do it live, and it's really cool. They're great guitarists. They're good fucking songwriters, and I like the singing. And so, Dirty Blonde, get into them from Manchester over there in the UK, and this song is called Rush.
Rush. Yeah, I like the song. I actually really, really like the song. I Have a Beef.
Ooh, give me your beef.
I wanted the production to have the edge of the song. I didn't.
Yeah,
get
it is much smoother than their other shit.
Yeah, I wanted a little bit more fucking fire out of the production. It's very, 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 very even.
It's compressed as hell.
It's super fucking compressed. So I was listening to it and I'm going, I want the energy of their older stuff, but I love this new direction in songwriting. So if somebody
I think it's because of the stops, right? Like they had to create that silence to come back in with a harder guitar. But that also, like, there's no trail of anything. It cuts hard.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. But I also want, like, the other thing I want out of it.
It's not as dangerous.
It's not as dangerous, and especially from what you and I are like, especially, with some of the Lambrini Girl stuff and some of the other shit we've been listening to coming out of the UK from this place. I really like the poppiness of this, but I want it paired with the punkness of the past stuff a little bit. Yeah. I want a little bit of extra shit on this one, and I want I think that's what I really wanted was the song is great, but I want the vibe to match it. And I almost didn't get that, but it's a great song.
I think the way I put it was that it's a little bit more professional than the stuff that they've done, and you can tell it's produced.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted a little bit more freewheeling indie in it.
Yeah.
But I like it because of that. I think
Yeah.
like for them, it will serve them well.
Yeah.
And then they'll get back to being a little bit more sloppy.
Yeah.
They're also just better.
And that's fine. Again, there is a way to make this move. I'm looking at you, Green Day. And maintain the integrity and the energy of your. I mean, also, we're talking Chris Lord Algae versus. I don't know who mixed this, but like there's a difference between like you can still retain that edge and that energy and bring these the songwriting and the pop sensibilities. And I don't think it's a producer decision. I think it's a mixing decision in my esteem.
Yeah, probably. You know what? That you bring up a good point. This is more 21 Guns than American Idiot.
Yes. Yes. But
like you can still do it with reckless abandon, or you can make it polished.
By the way, 21 Guns is all the young dudes. You are welcome.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's also when Green Day went to 4 members.
Yeah.
And no one ever knows about it.
Yeah. Keep that one guy back. I had a conversation with
poor guy back there like, hi, I'm in Green Day.
Yeah. I had a conversation with a pretty legendary keyboard player who shall remain nameless for now, but he is credited on a live Kiss record as playing keys. But if you listen to the live Kiss record, you will hear no keys. And so I was having a beer with this dude. We were at a party together, and he's super fucking nice guy. I was like, dude, you are credited on a Live 3 as playing keys. I said, and I'm sorry, but I mean, maybe God gave rock and roll to you too. But what else? He's like, oh yeah, when certain members of the band would walk out on the catwalk and forget to play their parts, I was backstage with a little video screen in front of me, watching I would fill those parts in. He wouldn't forget. It would be scripted as part of the show. But anyway, so I just find that funny that's the guy. That's the guy now.
Let's give a little bit of love to Jason White.
Oh.
Everyone knows Jason White as a member of Green Day.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Thank you. You got his name. Anyway.
Yeah, it was Jason White. And he also was in Wake Me Up When September Ends and Working Class Hero. So it was all kind of the later stuff. I did not know this. He briefly appears in When I Come Around in Jesus of Suburbia, which is kind of the earlier stuff.
Jesus of Suburbia.
But he's not performing with the band in that.
Jesus of Suburbia is the American Idiot.
This is the third time he was seen playing a guitar with the band. But anyway, Jason White, unsung hero of Green Day.
Jesus of Suburbia is the fucking like the prog punk song that's on fucking American Idiot. It's like 9 minutes long or some shit.
Yes, it's a very long
Fantastic.
song.
Anyway.
It's my rock opera.
My rock opera? They did make a rock opera out of that fucking... Anyway.
American Idiot, the St. James Theater.
Excellent. Oh,
it's one of my favorite memes of all time because there's a St. James Theater and then it says American Idiot above it. And someone sent that to me, and I was like, because you don't know if you don't know what it is, everybody's like, oh look, it just says St. James and American Idiot. And I'm like, yeah, hi,
fantastic, well done, sir.
Hi.
That wraps that up nicely. Nice song, Rush by, fuck, I forgot the name of the band.
Dirty Blonde.
Dirty Blonde.
Very nice. All right, everybody, let's get to the why don't you go, because I talk too much and I'm going to talk more.
You do not talk
too
much. You talk exactly as much as you're supposed to. How dare you talk about my friend?
Much. What was that song? Was that the Tubes? I'm trying to think of it. You talk too much.
I do talk too much.
I want to hear it again tonight. No, that's a different song. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, so I am finally caught up with Severance. But first off, this new season is fucking great. Now that you're kind of have an idea what's going on, it's really great. The sound design in season 2 is fucking astonishing. It is, it is beautifully. The sound, it's gorgeous. Anyway, but my sync of the week is from season 1 because we watched all of season 1 to catch up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, and episode 4. when you're kind of starting to get an idea of, so there's some fuckery afoot, you end up at a funeral.
Oh.
And there is a moment between a father and daughter where they perform Enter Sandman by Metallica. They do play it wrong. It's fine. It's fine. No. Performed by Yul Vasquez and Cassidy Layton in this funeral scene. It's in Severance, Season 1, Episode 4. Of course, the original by Metallica. And dads of a certain age, we all remember when our kids were like, "Hey, Dad, that's kind of a fucking cool song."
That's right.
You know? And this is one of those moments where, you know, the kids start to figure out that Metallica is all right. It's a very sad thing. It's pretty chaotic. There's a lot of shit goes on in this scene where this song is performed, and there's a whole lot of other... It's not just the song being performed. There's a whole lot of really uncomfortable sound design elements in this scene.
Severance.
It's such a fucking wonderful show, and probably the only show on television that reminds me of watching Breaking Bad, and in the context that I don't do anything else while I'm watching it.
Yeah,
you know,
you cannot.
The phone is in another room, and you and I both discussed where, you know, like with our people, they've been like, "It's fine, I can hear it." And I'm like, I'm pausing it because you can't just fucking hear this show. You have to watch it.
Can I tell you that just like Succession,
Yeah,
Severance is a show where I will watch the intro at full fucking volume and play it on my coffee table.
Oh, very nice.
Every single time. I've learned it in my head, what it is, how it will be.
Yeah.
And I saw on TikTok Howard Jones playing it.
Ah, fantastic.
And perfectly, by the way.
Of course.
But like, I mean, it's just such a perfect intro.
Yeah.
It's so fucking great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, just obviously there's so many great things about Severance that people who haven't seen it are sick of us all talking about it. But you know, that's on you.
Yeah.
Because this is daring television.
It is.
Or whatever.
It's
I don't even
brilliant.
know if you want to call it television. It's daring entertainment.
It is. The music.
And there's so many deep layers to it, and then performance-wise.
Yeah.
And it's just brilliant.
And the new season really gets into a lot more of those deeper elements. And the music is just fucking great.
I've been saving one because I thought you were going to get to it. So I have one from second season, but I've been saving it because I thought, oh, he's probably going to fucking take it.
I knew we already talked about that before I got into season 2.
Talk about it, didn't
and
we?
so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit back. I've got a couple from the rewatch of season 1 that I really loved. By the way, honorary mention, Ethel Merman's disco record.
Oh, Ethel Merman's disco record. Go find it.
It exists.
That's not a sync.
It's
so
not
I
a
can't
sync.
bring it in.
I know. But I wonder...
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. And if you didn't go look it up after that reference, not from Severance.
Not from Severance, although maybe.
Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So that's very good. Severance, Little Inner Sandman, the
before I
cover done by Yul
forget,
Vasquez and Cassidy Layton.
George Draculius was the soup on that.
George Draculius.
It's a fucking wickedly Greek name, and I love it. Here for it.
Yeah, that guy is out on his balcony, no shirt on, cigar, early morning. Absolutely.
I want to
gold
fucking be
chains.
him.
Yeah, totally. That's also an If You Know, You Know. That's an early podcast throwback. All right, mine is from Zero Day, new show on Netflix. It's with Robert De Niro, Angela Bassett, Lizzie Kaplan, Connie Britton, Jesse Plemons, Joan Allen, Matthew Modine. Holy shit,
That's
what
a
a cast.
Fuck. Yeah.
I am not going to tell you much about this show at all.
Yeah.
Because there are some glaring problems with sort of the setup and the hole in it. It's a limited series. Chill out. It's a bunch of actors in a big fucking show. If you like that kind of thing, give it a shot and watch it. De Niro's great in it. It's weird. There's some issues with it. So I'm not going to talk about the show, but basically there's a cyber attack that happens on the country, and we're trying to figure out what happened. And De Niro, as a former president, brought in because he has some gravitas. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
However, there is one song that is basically placed in this whole fucking show.
Yeah.
It's 6 episodes, I believe, on Netflix. Most of you haven't seen it yet. You will maybe start seeing it pop up on your recommended list this week. So I'm not going to ruin it for you, but I am going to tell you about this song. So this song is called Who Killed Bambi by the Sex Pistols.
Excellent.
So I never thought in my life that a Sex Pistols song would be placed in a movie or TV show. Especially one that wasn't, I did it my way. That kind of, that Sid Vicious doing that kind of, that made its way into shit at some point.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Yeah.
But this is Sex Pistols without Johnny Rotten and Sid Vicious, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's just so fucking interesting. This song is central to this show.
Yeah.
It is a Sex Pistols song is central to a show with Robert De Niro.
Wow.
Full stop. I mean, just full stop. That's
great.
As a publisher, as a music industry person, it's like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's what you need to know about this song and why it's so goddamn interesting. And there's no spoiler to the show.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is in 1977, the Pistols set out to do a movie called Who Killed Bambi?
Yeah.
And it was to break them into the U.S. market. It was Russ Meyer and Jonathan Kaplan. Russ Meyer did Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. You can look up his work. It's kind of weird, sort of 70s, sort of sexploitation kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The script was written by Roger Ebert.
Of Siskel and Ebert?
He's the big one.
Wow.
If you're wondering which one that is.
Yeah.
He also co-wrote Beyond the Valley of Dolls and had never heard of the Pistols.
Wow.
Okay. So this was supposed to be a punk version of Hard Day's Night to bring America the Sex Pistols in the late 70s. Some say this is what led to Rotten's departure.
Okay.
And honestly, what further made Sid Vicious die, downfall into heroin and barbiturates. He would die in 1979. The Sex Pistols were only around for 2 years, by the way.
Yeah.
For all that you know about them. That's a pretty amazing thing, right? So in late 79, a movie was called The Great Rock and Roll Swindle came out. They were trying to make this movie and Fox jumped out. The band wouldn't really do anything with this whole Who Killed Bambi movie. They shot 3 days on it. The band wasn't even involved. It was gone and out. And basically, it broke up the band in a lot of ways, but it also, they were going to break up anyway. I wouldn't say it did that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it didn't happen. Fast forward to late 79. Sid Vicious is dead. Johnny Rotten's out of the band. Here comes basically the producers, Jonathan Kaplan and Russ Meyer, come back in, and they make a movie called Great Rock and Roll Swindle, and it needs a soundtrack.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is a bunch of weird Pistol songs. It's like re-recordings with Steve Jones and Paul Cook on it. They re-recorded with Ronnie Briggs. And then the title track, Who Killed Bambi, was sung by Edward Tudor Pole, also known as Ten Pole. He was a punk. He had his own little thing going on in the UK. So the song that you hear in this is the Sex Pistols recording without Sid Vicious, without Johnny Rotten, with the singer is Ten Pole. And that's the song in this series. And here's another thing that should be noted about this. And I know this is geeking out on music.
I love it.
If you're still with us, we love you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. It should be noted that the Pistols lasted those 2 years, right? But in 2016, UMG picked up all the masters. And in 2023, the estate of Vicious, as well as the rest of the guys in the band, except for Johnny Lydon.
Yeah, of course.
They sold the publishing deal to BMG. That's why this song is on a TV show.
Wow.
Because they didn't have to ask Johnny Lydon, who's still alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by the way, the other guys are still alive too. Steve Jones and Paul Cook, I believe.
Yeah, Jonesy does a couple of I think he does a couple of satellite radio shows.
Yeah, they do shit.
Yeah.
And they're still active.
Yeah.
We have a friend who did a licensing deal with Johnny Lydon who was calling in trying to figure out, like he actually showed me a picture of his phone that said John Lydon on it.
Fuck.
And he was calling to ask about how royalties work.
Fantastic.
But anyway, so the supervisor God bless you, Mark Mondello, on this show. It is on Netflix. It's called 0 Day, and the song is Who Killed Bambi. That was a long way to talk about a Sex Pistols song, but it is so, there's like, this is deep cut upon deep cut upon deep cut.
Excellent.
It's not as simple as it's a Sex Pistols song.
Yeah.
So there you go. Give that a shot. If you can finish the show in a weekend or a few days. It's pretty cool. And you'll see what I mean. But it's fun to watch the cast do what the cast is doing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Also, restart your phone. Okay, let's get to... That's all for Sync of the Week. Let's get to Last Call, everybody.
Last call.
Did you have any last calls this week? Would you like to shout?
I've been in my yurt. I don't have any last calls other than, hey, everybody. You're doing great.
Oh, very nice. Stu's last call is all of you. Mine is Piers Litherland.
Ooh, that's very English.
Yes, he is an archaeologist and a doctorate of archaeology.
Ooh.
He has found the last missing tomb of a king from ancient Egypt's 18th dynasty.
Wow.
King Thutmose II.
Wow.
Is the first royal burial to be unearthed since the discovery of Tutankhamun in 1922. It is a massive finding. If you're into Egyptology or archaeology at all, this is a massive, massive finding. Now, the mummy of King Thutmose II was moved long ago and is also in the British Museum, but they never have found the burial site with all of the things.
Oh, wow.
All of the things and stuff.
Do not open those things. Don't.
I
just
know.
Fucking
But
leave
no,
them alone.
it doesn't have the mummy in it anymore. This one's fine.
No, it doesn't, because they moved the bodies, but they didn't move the headstones.
So I'm shouting out to Piers Litherland. Hopefully there will be some show on... I don't know if History Channel does history anymore. Maybe BBC will pick this up.
I saw one from them the other day.
Unless this is about aliens.
Exactly. I mean, it probably is if it's about Egypt. You're welcome.
So there you go. There's the last calls. All right, let's wrap this sucker up, everybody. Hey, send us any comments or questions or jokes or whatever. Release announcements, and we'll shout you out. You can find us at 2ShotsMusicPod, where you find people, or 2ShotsMusicPod@gmail.com. And remember to subscribe. Hit that bell on YouTube.
Ding.
Throw us a follow and a like on Spotify. Give us 5 stars. Leave a comment over there on Apple Podcasts. And until next week, we will wish you well. Like Stu, he thinks you're all doing a great job.
I'm doing so
I
good.
don't. I've seen some of you, and I don't think you're all doing a great job. You over there, yeah, you listening, you right there, get your shit in order. You know what I mean? Now you're doing good. You right there, you've got some work to do. You know what I'm talking about.
I stand by my initial
But
statement.
Stu loves you all equal.
I do. I love you all.
He'll stand by you.
I will.
Jesus Christ, let's not end on that. Give me another song. You talk too much. Homeboy, you never shut up. There you go. Run DMC, Talk Too Much. Go check that out.
Oops, I did it again.
Yeah, that'll do it for me. Everybody have a great week. We love you.
Love
Talk
you.
to you
Bye.
soon. Bye.